In this podcast, we're going to talk about gluconeogenesis, which is essentially forming glucose from non-carbohydrate sources. All right, so gluconeogenesis is the synthesis or the creation of glucose from pyruvate. We talk very often when we talk about aerobic respiration, we use glucose as our starting point for that. And we usually talk about that particular monosaccharide, which gets converted into 2-pyruvate through glycolysis. But what we're going to focus on is if we can get other non-carbohydrate sources to pyruvate, how we can make glucose from that. So pyruvate, as I said, can be made from non-carbohydrate sources. We can make it from lactic acid, also called lactate, which you're seeing on the bottom of your screen here. We can make it from amino acids, so from protein sources, and we can also make it from glycerol, so sources of lipids. Your body will not often choose to go the route of synthesizing glucose because normally you will eat enough carbohydrates in your diet and you'll be able to use glucose as your main energy source. But if you are not taking in carbohydrates, if you're on a carb-limited diet, your brain does rely solely on glucose as its energy source, so your body is going to be going through more gluconeogenesis than it would in another situation. So if you are going through sustained vigorous exercising or fasting, or if you're on a special diet like Atkins, your body is going to rely more heavily on creating glucose from a non-carbohydrate source so that your brain can have energy to sustain your life. Gluconeogenesis happens in the liver, and it only happens when your body has depleted both available glucose as well as its glucose reserves or stores in the form of glycogen. This process is anabolic, so it's not happening in the mitochondria, and consider it to be the reverse of glycolysis. So we're going to start with 2-lactate. They'll go through an oxidation reaction to form 2-pyruvate. Once we have those 2-pyruvate through gluconeogenesis, we can form glucose. Again, we're not interested in the intermediate or the really nitpicky steps. What we're interested in is that we do have a mechanism in the human body to form glucose when it is absent in the body for the brain to function.